Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 4, as always, presented by Star Esports. This is a double elimination tournament dedicated to the Overwatch Tier 3 community. Today, we have Astray versus Tribunes, and I'll be your play-by-play caster for today, poor Zach. Joined with me on color is Val.
Hey, how's it going today, man?
It's going pretty good. We had a pretty good match earlier. Looking forward to the match today here. Of course, this being match number 6, I believe, in the main bracket here. So, I'm pretty excited for it. We're going to be starting off on a good map. But before we get too far into the match, we are also joined today by the head manager of Tribunes, Opportune. Opportune, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Being the head manager of Tribune, what does that kind of entail for your duties as so?
So when I was brought on by Vobo to make Epoch's Overwatch Tier 3 team, I mainly headed the trialing, getting the talent, having the trials run, and stuff like that. And then after that was done, I take more of a kind of just keeping the peace sort of role in the team. I've been letting my co-manager Syndron deal with more of like the booking of scrims and whatnot. Since then, it's been more of like a joint effort from me, Syndron, and our head coach Whistle to kind of keep everything in order and organized.
Mm-hmm. And now, when you're doing these scouting for players, where do you kind of like go to look for them? Do they more come to you, or is it just kind of you look for them, or is it just kind of like a 50-50?
There's definitely a lot of players that come to me, and there's also a lot of times, obviously one of the most common ones is just the OW. I have access to all of the like top recruitment channels in there, so that's like a place that I go pretty often. For this roster, I think, at least for me, I went with some players that I might not have known as well or been as experienced in the community, but they showed a lot of promise, and somebody that I wanted to work with a long time and kind of mold into a really great Tier 3 roster.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm super excited to see what you guys are going to have here today. Now, being the head manager, I know that you're probably not, you may not be super involved when they're actively scrimming, but is there anything that you are going to want to watch out for when we're looking at these players to see those big plays come through?
Definitely. We've been doing a lot of preparation for this match. Obviously, Whistle, our head coach, doing lots of VOD reviews, and also Solheim, formerly worked with Clockwork Vendetta, has been helping us out quite a bit as well. Definitely going to watch Annie with those Maywalls. He's absolutely nuts with it. He's cracked out of his mind. Definitely going to be a player to watch.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you're working alongside someone who's worked with Clockwork Vendetta. Are we going to see potentially some similar comps to that? Maybe not in the exact characters, but more as proficiency on certain heroes?
I'm not going to give away too many strats right here, but you might see a little bit of Swedish Dwarf action. Who knows?
Okay. That does it for me with questions. Val, anything you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I just got a quick question here. You're facing against Astray, and they've been on an absolute tear lately.
Mm-hmm.
How confident are you guys going into this match against probably one of the favorites in the tournament?
Honestly, we definitely knew it was going to be a tough matchup. Like I said, we've just been preparing really hard. We know what we're capable of doing, and we definitely think we're capable of beating this team. We don't think it'll be an easy task, but definitely something that can be done, and hopefully will be done today.
Nice. Well, that's the only thing I had.
All right, well, I think that's all we have for you today, Opportune. Thank you so much for coming in here before the match and letting us do this interview and just try to get more insights as to what goes on, not just in front of us on the screen, but also a little bit behind the scenes with these teams.
Yeah, of course, man. More than happy.
All right, and with that being said, we're going to be going in here pretty soon. Looks like we're going to be starting on Lijiang Tower. I mean, we were talking about it before. Like he said, they kind of work with that Clockwork Vendetta other coach that, kind of helped Clockwork Vendetta, rise to the top and really be seen as a pretty crazy team with some pretty wacky compositions, not going to lie. But, I mean, are you going to expect to see anything here on Lijiang Tower, do you think?
I'm definitely,
Now arriving
especially
at
since you mentioned
Lijiang
Annie on the
Tower.
May, if they get to Control Center, I'm definitely going to expect them to bring that out to maybe wall some people
Initiating
off.
match.
You know, that's if they go into that white room. But oh, here on this map, you can definitely wall people off going through the little temple gates there. You know, walling them off, getting the point. I'm going to expect a lot of because the Astray's very powerful, so I'm going to expect Tribunes here to try to section them off and try to get man advantage, try to get that numbers advantage.
Yeah, that would definitely be something they're going to be looking out for here. And starting off here on night market, you know, I mean, if they wanted to run the Symmetra, you know, we see teams do it very often where they go straight through that first choke and set that teleport up at the top just to go straight over to the point and get that first contest to control it over. Right now, as the team sit and spawn, it doesn't look like that's what they're going to be doing here. But of course, it's always up for subject to change until they do walk out those doors. Right now, looking like it's going to be a little bit more of a standard sort of composition for the main part. We do see that Wrecking Ball, though, and an Ana, so those are really the only two things that are standing out to me when it comes to meta.
Yeah, I mean, that Wrecking Ball, that can be some trouble going into the make. You get frozen over and over and over again, taken out of the fight.
Capture the objective.
Yeah, it could be very detrimental here as these players now leave their spawn. It looks like they're going to stick with the Hammond. So now going forward, they have that Hanzo side arrow up there, just looking for some picks. That shield's already down. Right now, Garm's just going in there trying to get some free damage in, but the Mei kind of stopping him when he gets pulled. He actually gets frozen here. They're going to try to use that immortality to keep him up, but it looks like he was unfortunately not able to secure his way in there. He gets taken out, and right now Annie's stuck on that Mei right outside of the point, but it looks like they might be able to try to just cap a little bit percentage on the point, but it looks like they're going to get taken out a little too fast. Maybe the Hammond play a little too aggressive there at the start.
Yeah, that double shield, they're definitely Tribunes lacking the power to get through that shield, so they were trying to dive around it, trying to get a little cheeky there, but just they lacked that coordination to dive together.
Yeah, right now, looking pretty good for the side of Astray. They're going to start off with that Baptiste Amplification Matrix. Already, though, what's down? Now Annie follows close behind, but Train Cloud gets taken out as well. But it looks like the fight's already going back over to Astray. And now, all the way back, Tribune's just kind of thinking, okay, well, what can we do here to stop this?
Yeah, Train Cloud got taken out there, but he was able to take about 3 people's attention, so they made it a 5v3 with all the other members there. And like I said, it's a numbers game at that point, and the higher number wins.
So it does most of the time. Pulling it up top there, they use the Amplification Matrix. They also decide to use that Blizzard. Not sure where that Blizzard was. I think possibly got stunned, or maybe what? I didn't hear a Blizzard. I don't know what. I thought I heard the Blizzard. All right, Amplification Matrix through. From Geo is now down. Looks like the Dragon's gonna come through though. The Immortality goes down. Actually, a headshot on the Garms with that Dragon from Ari, and it looks like they're gonna be able to take another team fight win here. Just picking up all those kills. Now, what's kind of just over in the back line? Like, okay, well maybe I should just jump off.
Yeah. Tribunes tried just funneling straight down mid there, and there was a Dragon waiting for him. And so much damage came out.
Yeah, now going into this next fight, all they're really going to have on the side of Tribunes is that Dragon. Meanwhile, over on the side of Astray, coming down to the last fight here, they have nearly 5 ultimates in their bank. All they really needed was that Dragon there. And right now, the team's already split off. And it looks like a really good Dragon start off. Both Immortalities taken down. Nice. All right, it looks like everybody's going down, though, on the side of Tribunes. Very unfortunate for them. Wow, a very dominant first round. They knew they could pretty much use anything and everything, but Astray is going to be able to keep both of those support ultimates, not needing them for that fight.
Yeah, Astray just had a smorgasbord of ultimates in that fight there. I thought they were going to get him with the Mei wall into the Dragon, but a very, very well-placed Immortality field by Arrow, keeping Crimson up and keeping the fight going.
Yeah, now going on to this next point, we see some Reinhardt swaps. No surprise there. Reinhardt's very good on this map because everybody's going to be close quarters, especially at the start here, when you go into this little room right next to the objective. Now, one thing that I'm actually surprised I'm not seeing here is a Hanzo swap over to the Reaper.
Oh. Well, we might be seeing a little cheekiness out of Tribunes here.
I assume him is to boost over and then switch back over to the Reaper.
Yep. Looks like both of them.
Okay. So now running mirror compositions. Yeah, but now running these mirror compositions, though, it's going to have to be a little bit more one-on-one skill So now without the picks to kind of counter each other, both immortality fields are up. This May wall goes down to try to split them off. They're gonna have to back up a little bit on the side of Astray, but it looks like they're gonna be able to keep themselves up. Right now, Garms looks like he's in deep territory, but what actually able to pick up a kill onto the enemy Reinhardt. Now they're gonna be able to just walk through here, taking out 2, no 3, as they continue their stretch forward, taking out as many as they can before, of course, Astray are gonna have to back up here and just let the point flow over to the Tribune.
Yeah, Rory was in the backline doing damage, but wasn't able to secure any kills during that fight. So definitely gave the advantage over to What, as he was able to just sit there and lay into the entire enemy line.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really hard to go through with this first choke here because you have that May ready with that wall, so you're going to have to make sure you all go through either at the same time or try to bait it out. And right now, the wall's already been through. Now's their chance to go in. They're going to absolutely just start rushing in. But the Amplification Matrix with the Fire Strike to do a lot of damage. The Immortality Field comes up because of it, trying to make sure that all your teammates are saved. The Amplification Matrix now coming up from Switch to try to change that fight around. Throw that Fire Strike through, but it looks like nothing's coming out quite yet. No kills on either side. Both these Reinhardts with their shatters could determine how this fight goes. Garm's going to start off, not quite able to pick anybody up. It looks like the Immortality Field's also going to come down, but the shatter from Train Cloud is absolutely massive, able to pick up what looks like everybody on the field right now. And of course, they still have their Immortality up, so they're just going to be able to make their way through here. The Bongo now also down, just trying to get all these kills, but it looks like Garms is going to be able to take out Arrow before much happens before that. Geo also taking out Train Cloud now. This fight a lot more even than it probably should be right about now. The Stray needs to pick up these kills. That Immortality absolutely able to save them there. But it looks like finally in the end, they're going to be able to take this point away, but a little bit longer than it probably should have.
Stalling, though. They got an extra solid 25, 30, 35% there, just living as much as they could.
Yeah, pretty impressive here, and it looks like they're going to be doing the same thing, trying to hold up close here to try to get that wall while somebody else... Actually, no. Both of their supports are still back. I lied. So they're actually playing it a lot more passive, but it looks like they're taking their time on the side of Tribune to make their way through. They put the May wall up so no one could get picked off here. Very good. They're making their way through up here at the upper halls. Both Amplification Matrixes are down. The Fire Strike goes through, but it looks like that Immortality Field is going to be able to keep most of them alive. Going above right now, Rory looking for something to go in on, and that they are. Both Blizzards coming out from both sides now, and now it looks like also the beats from both sides, or the beat from Arrows also coming out. The Shatter comes through. It looks like it's able to pick up 2, and right now the fight's still very 50-50 looking. What was frozen, but of course Shadow had to reload his weapon before he could shoot him. Not quite able to do that. The Immortality's out right now with only 3 left on the cart, or 3 left on the point for both teams right now. As more come back though for the side of Tribune, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to stall much longer, but Train Cloud made his way back in here, and he's just absolutely swinging his hammer, looking for anybody that can connect. Yeah, Annie going down is going to make it really hard because now they don't have that wall or the freeze to stop them from getting too aggressive. Now Rory also able to take out Garms. Very good picks coming through here, and it looks like they're going to be able to keep this point just barely by the skin of their teeth.
That's not good for Tribunes. They invested a lot of ultimates in their fight. Now I know they've got 3 coming up, and they use Shatter and Blizzard. Some of their, big CC ultimates there, and that's not going to be good coming in this fight when you've got Shadow at 80%. Train Cloud already has Shatter.
Yeah, and right now, a pretty good May wall to start off, so that way no one can get picked off. But of course, since the Amplification Matrix was down, they're going to have to just wait that one out. And it looks like now they're deciding to go back in again, but the May wall actually stops that Amplification Matrix from coming through. In the backline, What using his Death Blossom. Rory, the first one getting taken out of the fight here, so now the advantage over to the side of Tribunes. The Blizzard, though, going down as well. The Shatter comes through, not quite able to connect with anybody, but someone's all the way back on the point right now. The fight's still very 50-50, but the point being conversed over to the side of Tribune. Those two are going to have to run back now. Shadow and Arrow just making their way over there, able to take out Noctis, and now What being the only person left on point here. They were able to cap it so that way they can get a little bit more percentage, so maybe the stall can come through. It looks like they're about to cap it pretty soon here. Jay comes back, though, of course, on that ball, but he gets frozen and taken out relatively immediately. Garms is back here, getting booped around by this Hammond. Not much he can do, turning left and right. But, of course, the Immortality Field is there, but it goes down super quick. Everybody able to focus it. Andy's staying on there with the Ice Cube, looking around for picks right now. Everybody's going down. Andy just has to sit in that Ice Cube. Not much they can do. Jay makes their way back to the point here on the ball, but there's not going to be much that they can do because, of course, this May is just going to freeze over and over again, slowing them down, making them unable to spin. And it looks like a really close point here is going to go over to the side of Astray.
That's the fight that we were thinking we were going to see all this match. That was a much closer match, much better played by the Tribune. Yeah, that's a terrible feeling for Andy there when you're the only one on point and you get 6 people surrounding you in that ice block. and you just know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, it's a scary time, but it lets you think about what's gonna happen, and you can accept the death. It happens. And pretty good play of the game here by Switch too, to make sure he's getting heals on his team and to eliminate some players. Now that the match is over, it looks like Astray is going to be the one banning a map, and then of course the ones picking the map will be Tribune. So what they decide to go with, I'm not quite sure. Just from what we've seen so far, they both look like they're fairly meta play teams, so they could pretty much go anything, honestly.
Yeah, I think given that last map there, they're going to try to keep it into a more open map, give more sightlines, because I don't think they like brawling with the Tribunes very much. They showed that they can hang, that they're not afraid to go in there and trade blow for blow with them, and they almost came out on top. So I would expect something maybe Hollywood. Yeah, just anything more open. Probably trying to stay away from 2CP as well.
Yeah. And while we're in this downtime in between maps, I'd just like to remind everybody that you can vote for your MVPs down below, and we will be actually having them in for an interview after the match. That way we can kind of talk to them, think how their game went, talk to them about how they're able to pull off so many things that makes them tonight's MVP. Of course, down below is where you're going to be able to vote for them. And don't forget to also follow, subscribe, and just go Star Esports on everything, YouTube, Twitter, here on Twitch, and just make sure that you're able to keep up to date with everything, with all these crazy matches coming through. And we'd also like to thank Silver Zig for that gifted sub earlier. Much appreciated.
Yes, please support the Tier 3 community. Support the Tier 2 community. We do this out of love, so please, anything you guys can get, follows, likes, retweets, shares on everything. Every little bit helps.
Absolutely. And right now, it looks like they're going through here. They decided to ban Volskaya, and they're going to be going over to Kings Row. Kings Row, a very fun, very good staple Overwatch map.
Yeah, and a lot of different compositions that you can play on Kings Row. You can, we saw occasional dive on this map. You see double sniper. You can see the double shield. I'm probably going to expect to see some Hanzo on this map, especially out of what? I know he likes playing on Hanzo. I think we're going to see a lot of long-range compositions here. I think that's why Astray banned Volskaya. They didn't want to get into something brawly. But I'm not sure if I like this pick by Tribunes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun match to watch here on Kings Row. Kings Row, like I said, staple of Overwatch. You really can run pretty much anything on here. But normally meta is very, very solid on this map, what it feels like for most of the time. Like, this map, you don't want to differentiate too much from the meta. And like you said, they're probably going to be playing the Hanzo because of these large sight lines that they're going to be able to have. So if both teams are going to be running the Hanzo, I would not be surprised. If they're on something other than Hanzo, I think that's where that surprise is actually going to set in.
Yeah, that Hanzo battle is probably what I'm going to be following this match, or this map. Although the Baptiste battle actually going on right now is very, very interesting. I don't know if we've been following that at all, but that has been a fun watch. The mind games with the immortality fields, when to place it, when not to place it, where to place it, have been extremely fun to watch.
Yeah, and right now we can see starting off here on the defense, Astray, it looks like they're going to be going with just that, the meta composition. You got that Bap Zen, Mei, Hanzo, and then of course the double shielder Risa Sigma. Overall, right now, bread and butter of Overwatch. Some may say, unfortunately, depends on how you see it or how you like the meta, but I mean, that's just kind of like with every meta.
Yep. As a Mei main, I'm loving it, but Astray actually chose to play defense here, so wanting to see what the opponents get before they go, but here we go.
Yeah, it looks like right now they're going to be running out. Also with the staple meta right now, I think a lot of people didn't really think Lucio would be that much in this, but he's so good on like offensive and just going in for it. And speaking of going in for it, they're absolutely just rushing in. Both Maywall's already down. The immortality been popped already, but Train Cloud already getting taken out by Jay. And it looks like right now it's very 50-50 actually. Garms just also gets taken out. But right now the freeze goes through onto Jay. God. Just keeping it all together right now, staying composed. Even though they lost somebody, Shadow Jr. able to pick up a 3K quick and easy to make that 4.
That's 4.
Nice.
And like you said, that Lucio boost coming in strong.
Yeah, that's something you really gotta have to be worried about. And thankfully, Astray was able to keep nice and composed while it was going on, despite losing one of their players.
Yeah. So that you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to boost. They're trying to speed boost their way through to avoid the main wall. But oh, that halts.
It's a really good haul to kind of keep them back there. And right now, they're just playing in this hotel, waiting to see what they're going to do. They could go out either end right now, and they're being really careful. Astray, waiting for them to come through, and that's what they do. They do a pull into that amplification matrix, making their way through. That immortality is already down on both sides now. Garms being the first one taken out, Annie close behind. And it looks like possibly another fight for the side of Astray is going to be won here. But maybe, just maybe, they're going to be able to do something with it. They see the Zen alone by himself in hotel for the time being. You know, it looks like this Hanzo duel going up top, and a great rock to actually take what out of that Hanzo duel. He's going to have to go and get that health back down at the bottom there. Amazing rock to kind of alleviate some of the pressure away from Rory.
Can get 6 here. Crimson was the last one to die, so he's going to have a tough time getting back quickly. They can push this, but Rory evens the odds.
Yeah, it's already taken out Annie, and now Arrow taking out Noctis. It's looking pretty good so far yet again for the side of Astray. Definitely a team who has been very strong very recently and is looking to keep that title of one of the best tier 3 teams in this series.
Definitely, and they picked defense here, and they picked it with confidence. They didn't even budge. They didn't even hesitate. They knew what they wanted to play. They picked their competition early. They got out here, and they're showing why they are one of the best.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to watch out for them. It looks like they're getting ready for yet another push. But looking at the ultimates here, I mean, we have quite a few on the side of Tribunes, but it looks like that Sigma ult's gonna be the first one to come through here. And of course, it's just gonna be met by that immortality, just absolutely stopping it. And now everyone in front of that amplification matrix is just absolutely melted, sending them back to spawn. And now they have to get ready for the next one where they're gonna have a lot more ults in their disposal. But of course, because Astray has just as many, it's still going to be very much so a 50-50 fight.
Arrow doing his best job trying to put his MVP candidacy out there with a great window there and a great immortality to keeping everybody alive during that first slump.
Yeah, the Maywall comes through to kind of stop them from putting in too much damage onto them while they make their way into hotel. Right now, it looks like they're actually going to use the Dragon Strike. Yeah, and the first thing coming out in both of the Blizzards, the Immortalities to meet them. But Switch has that Transcendence to make sure all of his teammates stay up no matter what. The Bongo also still through, but the Amplification Matrix coming in a little bit later. But Rory was able to pick up 3 kills during that whole engagement there. And it looks like now, with a little less than 40 seconds remaining, ultimate-wise, I mean, both teams still very 50-50. Both teams have been very good with their ult economy, but the ones able to capitalize on it the most right now are Astray.
That was an old school strategy by Switch there. The hiding Zen, you got the ultimate, you wait for them to engage with ults, and then you just zoom on out of there with that Transcendence, keep everybody alive, survive the wave.
Yeah, but right now it looks like they found exactly what they needed to, getting a first pick out here, especially onto a really high damage DPS. Right now, Crimson stuck by that Maywall, getting very low, but not quite able to get taken out. But it looks like they're going to be able to get more picks now as this Bongo allows them to put through so much more damage. And now, while it looked like things were getting a little bit sketchy, of course, Tribunes letting them know that they're still here, they're still ready to play.
That's a huge pick by what? You know, in this meta composition here, the Hanzo is most of your damage. You know, the Mei is more for your CC, your control, your dividing off. So if you can get that Hanzo first, you're gonna win that shield battle 99% of the time, I would imagine.
Yeah, and what again with another great pick, especially on the Baptiste. Overall, just the absolute anchor of what is this composition because of how much heals they're able to put through in that immortality. So of course they're gonna have to back up and give up even more space. And noticing that Tribunes are just gonna make their way up there.
Yeah, Tribune's doing a good job here of pushing forward by leaving one on the cart, getting that frog, getting basically that free push. You know, Astray can't push out until Arrow comes back. And now that he's here, we're going to see another big fight.
Yeah, but they're taking a lot of space, and right now the Amplification Matrix comes through, but so does that Dragon. They have to use that Immortality Field. Jay just trying to take that out to try to get something to happen, but Train Cloud, seeing him out of position, just like, all right, we're just going to take that. Crimson now taking out his counterpart as well. And now more people are falling on the side of Tribunes. They're going to hurry up and try to back up. They don't want to stagger themselves or give any free ult charge to the enemy. So now they go back. They got a little over a minute on the clock, and they are fairly close. So one fight win to get this point captured.
And that is the staple Astray fight right there. As soon as they got 6, they didn't hesitate. They're calm, they're fantastic. I'm assuming they were talking about what's doing the fight on the way up there. And as soon as Arrow got there, they just kept moving forward, kept pushing into Tribunes. It didn't stop until all 6 were out.
Yeah, and right now, looks like they're going around a fairly different way. They aren't going through main at this current time, but it looks like that could be their downfall as this dragon goes through in such that narrow corridor. Able actually to pick up 2 and switch. Also takes out Garms. Really good there to start off that fight for the side of Astray. But now, I mean, going into it, all they're going to have is the Blizzard. And actually, okay, they're going to have the Blizzard and the Sigma Graph Flux going into this next fight. 2 pretty big ultimates as long as they're able to use them correctly. But Switch and Arrow are definitely going to be ready for that. Not only with the Transcendence, but with that Immortality as well.
Expect Switch to do the same thing that he did on the first point where he's going to try to hide. And as soon as that Blizzard comes out, he's going to poke his head out from wherever he's at and just keep everybody up until it goes away, and then they're going to go on a counter.
Yep, they're going through main right now on the side of Tribunes. A pretty good pull to get them all in the air. Train Cloud, of course, is just focusing that Immortality instead, able to pick up 2. Absolutely massive. The Transits, of course, is going to come through in answer to the Blizzard, but Train Cloud able to pick up a 4K. Absolutely insane. And now,
Astray just doing work with the final blows.
Yeah, now, I mean, going into this next one, they were able to cap the point and move it. So this is still very much anybody's game.
Yeah, just because they got held there does not mean the map is over by any stretch of the imagination. Tribunes, like Opportune said earlier, very strong in the May, so you can expect a high-quality defense here.
Yeah, you got to be really careful when it comes to maze around this point in particular because of that corridor or that small choke that they have to first come through is very easily walled off. The wall fits perfectly in there, and of course, you're just going to be able to run down whoever's stuck on the other side of that wall. And unless the enemy team is shooting at that wall 100%, then it's pretty much game over for whoever's stuck on that other side.
But Astray does have the coordination to know as soon as that wall goes up, everybody shoots at, I'm assuming, the middle pillar, but they probably have their own, second, fourth pillar, whatever it is. Everybody shoots at it, they break their way through, just keep going. These guys are just a steamroller going through the tier 3 scene right now.
Yeah, and right now looking at the defense, fairly similar actually to the offense. They're going to keep the Lucio over the Zen, I imagine, so that way they could be a little more aggressive with their defense. We have seen a lot of aggression come out for them. They have taken their little moments to kind of recuperate and make sure all their ultimate or all their cooldowns are going to be up in time for the next fight. So I'm not super surprised that they're going to go with this Lucio. But, maybe that's going to be in their favor because they're going to be able to disengage and engage way easier.
Yeah, this is the big battle here, this Lucio versus Zenyatta. And right now I'm liking the Zenyatta because he's just keeping them alive through so much. Yes, he doesn't have the standard healing, but that ultimate can save so much.
Yeah, and right now it looks like they're just making their way around the statue, actually just running up, using that Lucio speed boost, going in right away. But of course, that wall is only able to pick up so many, and it's not quite able to actually split them off, but they're actually going to be able to get a few kills after taking out that Immortality field. Now what they can do afterwards and just absolutely cleaning up.
Tribune's taking the goat strats of just speed boosting into the enemy team.
Very impressive.
And like we said during the break between maps, that's how they want to fight. They want to get up close and personal. They want to brawl this out. They don't want this pokey, oh, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you. They want to just be in your face aggressive. And I think that's why the Lucio works for them.
Definitely. And I mean, now going up to this next one, Arrow's going to have that amplification matrix. And right now, actually, Garms is walled off. There's not much they can do right now. But of course, Noctis is going to be able to use that speed boost wall running to get in there and heal them up. What, though, is going to be able to take out Shadow early in the fight. The May, pretty big character there to kind of freeze everybody, slow them down. But Jay getting taken out by Rory. They're going to just back up a little bit here. They know when they can get aggressive. And they know when they've been a little too much so. They're going to be able to take out Train Cloud. And they know that Rory's in the back line looking somewhere for a health pack. And it looks like they're going to send a few people back there. Actually able. Good shot on Rory running around that wall.
Yeah, these May walls, they're excellent by Shadow, but Noctis just, every time one comes up, speed boosting over, keeping Garms alive on that Orisa, keeping whoever gets walled off alive. And you just love seeing this Cornish. He's ready. He's already up there on top of the hotel just waiting.
Yeah, and right now it looks like the pull is going to come through. Both these tanks right here going to take a little bit of damage and actually take a little too much damage. They weren't able to get a shield up in time for Jay. Jay's going to be the first one going down. Rock was absolutely massive, and now the pull along with the dragon comes through, but of course that Immortality there to answer. Not quite able to pick anyone off now because of that, but the Bongo Amplification Matrix and the Immortality there, they should be able to possibly win this fight out with the wall, also stopping them from getting any heals. Both those tanks getting taken down is absolutely massive right now. as long as they're able to just keep themselves up. As you can see right now, they aren't actually getting super aggressive. And now the Dragon going through here, they can just kind of stay back. They're going to go through this hotel and try to pick up more of those later picks. Actually, the Blizzard's going to go down here and possibly get someone stuck in it. Not quite sure. Annie's stuck in there for a little bit, but they throw the immortality down to try to save them, but gets taken out last second. The amplification mage comes down now, taking out Garms next. They have to back up and give a little bit of space. They got to be careful of that, and it looks like that Grapple Flux is going to be able to take up Crimson, gets him taken down, and Rory also down now. This is looking very, very close, actually. They're going to want to give up a little bit of percentage because they will want to go back in there as long as they make sure that they are up in the numbers. But it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to make it there in time. Possibly, I lie, Noctis is there on the point in the background, but it doesn't look like anybody's going to be ready to go there with him.
Tell you what, though, Annie is doing an excellent job segmenting Astray off and getting these, numerical advantage close-range fights that they need. That's what Tribunes has to keep doing if they want to win this fight. They need to press S6 together, section off 2-3 at a time, and just go from there.
Yeah, and it looks like
6v16 fights.
Yeah, and right now they're just kind of giving that little bit of space. They're actually going up to the high ground and trying to, I don't know, actually. They're going through the high ground. I assume they're going to go all the way up to the window behind.
Yes.
I assume that's what they're going to do.
But the payload's already through.
Yeah, and they know they're there. They're already ready for it. Arrow, though, is running away as fast as they can, trying to make sure they don't get caught out. The Blizzard coming through. Looks like it's going to actually get everybody. A huge Blizzard. Now they take out that immortality field. They're just going to be able to pick up these free kills. And I mean, that was perfect. Right in the middle of the team. There's not much you could do after that.
Annie. Tell you what, if you guys are early MVP voters, I'm looking at Annie right now because these walls have been phenomenal on this map. He's I don't want to say single-handed because every Doom Dribble is definitely carrying his fair share.
And right now they're just holding right outside the spawn, actually able to pick up 2 despite that immortality field being down because of that May wall from Annie. So yeah, definitely showing up there with these abilities, using them in the right places at the right time, and holding them at their spawn doors.
Tribunes going full selfless here, just at the spawn gates.
Yep, they're just waiting for someone to run through right now so that way they can put that wall down and then capitalize on it. They're just waiting for someone to come out with the pull. Dragon comes through, actually able to pick up one of them before that immortality field is actually able to save anyone. So now they're just going to run up to them and try to die as fast as they can so that way they can hurry up and regroup. But man, if they were able to win another fight there, that could have been very, very bad for the side of Astray. But with them being so far away, as long as they have 3 on cart, they might be able to make it there before anyone actually gets back.
Yeah, and they're pushing. They're going to push forward, though. They're going to try to hold them up and take the fight because they know that they have the 6v6 advantage. Oh, a window keeping them back even more.
Yeah, that window is just going to make it so hard for them. They know they have to go through, but it's like if they just peek it, exactly that's going to happen. The tanks are going to go down, and so is what? Rory just able to pick up 3 people, make that 4, adding to the scoreboard, just decimating them through that matrix.
You cannot peek on this guy with that. You have to have that May wall up in their face to buy yourself some room, but they just kept peeking. He made him pay.
Yeah, it's such a hard thing to do, too. You're stuck in a really awkward position because you got to get on that cart, but it's like you have that matrix right in front of you, and it's like, okay, I think we just kind of have to power through it because even if they were to just let them have that space, they still couldn't have made it to cart. So playing, a real dangerous game trying to run through there, but it's the only game they could play.
That was one of those, damned if you do, damned if you don't moments there, because like you said, if they push it, we saw what happens if they try to push it in. If they wait, cart just goes into point anyways.
Yeah, makes it really difficult for them.
But Rory with showing why he is to be feared on that Hanzo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, making sure that matrix is up at all times is also really good. So seeing that come out from Arrow is very, very important. And now while we're in between these maps, now 2-0 on the side of Astray, I mean, MVP candidates, you could see them on both sides. You can see, let's say on the side of Tribunes, maybe someone wants to go with Annie, who has been doing just great usage of these walls and making sure that they're able to get the freezes in. An amazing Blizzard also on that point on King's Row while they're going through streets. Or maybe you're going to look over to Astray where maybe you see Arrow, who's putting through massive amount of healing and able to get that matrix up and perfect immortality fields to kind of save the day. If you want to vote for the MVP, now's your time to go below and vote.
I tell you what, I've been impressed with both of the healers for Astray today, actually. Like you said, Arrow with those perfectly placed, perfectly timed immortality fields and and the well-placed amplification matrix. But Switch with these beautifully timed transcendences to save his team when they're being hit by 2, 3, combination ultimates. That's one of the reasons why they're winning is because Tribunes are putting out these combos, these 2, 3, 4 ultimate combos, whereas Astray is just countering with 1. So now they've got the ult advantage and they just push back into them and counterpunch like we've never seen before.
Yeah, both teams I feel like have been doing pretty good when it comes to ult economy, but Astray, like you said, has kind of been the ones to definitely amplify their ult usage overall. And now we're going to be heading into Busan for what could potentially be the last map. This, of course, picked by Tribunes, so we're going to see what happens here. Being on this King of the Hill leads for a lot of different compositions to possibly be played here. So with what the teams are going to roll out with, not quite sure. Expect to see similar to the meta, though.
And they got lucky getting Mecha Base here. I think we're going to see something similar to Control Center, possibly, where they go with the Reinhardt, the Reaper May combination, and try to just get in their face, try to brawl with them, because we've seen that's when they're having success, is when they're able to disrupt Astray. Astray likes to be very coordinated, very specifically timed attack. And when you can get in their face, when you can disrupt them, it puts all of those plans to waste.
Yeah, I mean, that's just something you're going to have to be looking out for going into this. And like you said, possibly on the Reinhardt right now, Garms just kind of staying on it. I assume right now that Tribunes is going to be sticking to that specific composition that they're running right now. And it looks like, Crimson's going to switch back over to the Orisa. I would have been surprised if they stayed on the Zarya, but it looks like right now, they're going to be sticking to their King's Row compositions, except instead what's going to be over on the Reaper now. So a little bit more close quarters, could be pretty interesting.
Noctis on this Lucio, he's going to be able to move them around very, very quickly.
Yeah, and quickly that B, it looks like they're actually going to use that little pipe up top to drop down to point. Not something you get to see used very often.
No, but a very cheeky play, and I like it. They're going to wait for 6, and they're going to wait for this point to unlock, and then probably go out and try to contest it. Yep, here we go. And a great wall!
The May wall just absolutely stops that push. Both of the tanks are just out at the same time, and now everybody's just dying on the side of Tribunes. Not much they can do. Train Cloud able to pick up a few. Meanwhile, everyone else is cleaning up. I mean, that's a pretty good way to start off the
like a book there. They knew exactly what they were going to do and had the counter ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, the May wall has just been absolutely great from both sides, but right there, Shadow just definitely showing, like, as soon as someone's going to step out of there, going to throw up that wall, and then what's going to happen, you're split off from everybody, and you're probably going to end up dead.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Annie play that counter wall first like they do right there, so they don't get walled off. If he would have done that, they probably would have had a chance of getting the point as 6.
Yeah, I think they probably wanted to save the wall to try to get a pick while they were on the point, though, and weren't really expecting them actually to get walled off as soon as they got out. But of course, you got to expect the unexpected, and right now, what's actually all the way over by himself right now. He's Discord, and he's going to get taken out before the fight even starts. So right now, a 5v6 going into this one.
Yeah, tried flanking on that Hanzo, and it didn't pay off for him.
Yeah, now these teams are just picking at each other. Back down to the numbers game. The immortality actually comes through right now, but Jay's going to be able to get picked off here. So it looks like this fight's probably going to go over again to the side of Astray, but Noctis going to go ahead and get a kill, but what? Making his way back here, now taking out both supports.
What coming back in off of that respawn and just wrecking havoc.
And right now, Noctis just kind of contesting the point as much as they can, waiting for everybody to make their way back. Right now, it looks like it's Lucio versus Hanzo with their Sigmas in their backline, but it looks like Tribunes, because they were able to coordinate themselves and get back in time, they might be able to pick this point back up. Right now, the Matrix comes through, and now also going to be using, for Train Cloud, his Sigma ultimate. He's going to be able to pick up a few here, gets them down, gets them low, doesn't quite able to get too many picks from it. Crimson, though, is actually able to get a few picks, and this point hasn't changed at all. We're at 90%. This is now technically the last fight.
Here. They never really got together as 6, but kind of just went on to the point at respawn. And just this is what happens when you have a team coordinated like Astray. That focus fire is intense, and they will pick you off one at a time.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, the fight's still very much active. Noctis getting the pick off on Crimson, and Garms now getting 3 kills so far, I believe, in this fight. But him getting taken down pretty soon, and actually Annie gets stunned out of their ultimate. Very unfortunate. Now it's just Noctis on the point.
To get back.
It doesn't look like Jay's going to be able to make it on the Reinhardt quite in time.
Yeah, like I said, I did not like that call from Tribunes there to try to trickle on and get these, 3v2 maybes, because it was, what was it? It was two Sigmas on each, it was a Sigma on each side and then a Hanzo versus a Lucio. Those are not good odds when you get that Lucio usually.
I don't know. I mean, going into that fight, it was very even in that numbers game, like we've been talking about during this series. But I think the only issue for that really was the fact that they just weren't able to get those kills fast enough. I mean, the trickling in, they weren't. I feel like they grouped up at one point in time and made it there while they still were on that point. But I think what really made the difference was they weren't able to get kills, so everyone on the side of Astray actually started trickling in there, making it a lot more difficult for them.
That's the big problem is the focus fire, while good on the Tribunes, not as crisp as what we're seeing from Astray. But we're going to see some fair battles here.
Ooh, what with a nice shot onto Rory on the Tracer. Not something you get to see very often. Tracer, a very difficult target to hit. Not only a small hitbox, but a very fast-moving one.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun battle to watch. This different Widow versus Tracer, trying to keep the Pharah in check while having the Tracer dash around.
Yeah, right now, what looks like he's kind of taking over the battlefield, able to get the first 2 picks here.
Yeah. These tanks are actually, for Tribunes here, or not Tribunes, yes, Tribunes, are just doing a good job of holding space. You've got Garms who's going around knocking people out of position. Jay holds people into these Pharah rockets.
Yeah, and right now, it looks like what's actually getting dove by a Train Cloud, actually going to be able to get taken out, but Arrow, the Mercy, the numbers battle might be even right now, but it really comes down to utility and usage-wise. I think that right now, Tribunes is going to have the upper advantage, or upper hand rather, in this fight. But it's still looking pretty 50-50 right now. Of course, the tanks and the Tracer are the one right now contesting the point, trying to get on there. Jay on that Orisa has been taken out. Train Cloud actually gets nanoed up here, goes for the boop, actually able to boop what off the map. Weren't quite able to grapple back in time, and it looks like this point made it itself up to 50% for Tribunes, but now taken over by Astray.
What did a very good job initially on the Widow of holding space, holding that sideline, putting that fear into Astray, but they just dove past it, got everybody else, and then went for the Widow.
Yeah, very impressive at the start there, but what's switching over to the Tracer, now a more mirror matchup going into this, except the Ana and the Baptiste differential here, but a lot of ults right now that could be used here. And right now it looks like it's going to start off with the amplification matrix going through, getting a lot of damage through, but Geo gets taken out here by Rory. It's going to be very, very hard for them to continue on here because they're not going to have as much heals as they'd like to have right now. Thankfully, Noxus was able to pop that Valkyrie to put some through, getting super close to the point. Jay right now is going to be the one to try to take it back over, use that Fortify onto the point, and using that Barrage, actually able to pick up one, but now the Far Mercy getting taken out here by a very coordinated push. And while the numbers may look very 50-50 right now, I think that they might be able to cap it back in time if Geo's able to take out anybody. But a great pulse bomb onto Arrow gets him taken out by what? And now it looks like the only one that's going to be able to try to stop anything is Switch, but they're just going to have to hurry up and run back.
Yeah, usually you hate seeing the double support ult, but when you've got a Baptiste, it's not really a support ultimate. It's definitely more offensive. So they popped the Valkyrie and the Amp Matrix at the same time, kept everybody alive, and kept them shooting through that Amp Matrix early on in that fight, and I actually really like that.
Yeah, and now I think going into this next fight here, I mean, they got a lot of ults on the side of Astray. They should be winning this next engagement. It looks like they're going to start off with the nano boost here, looking for, I imagine, this Baptiste, and then, of course, the Barrage comes through, but it gets taken out because of great immortality, keeping everybody up, and then Annie's just like, all right, you're just going to stand still. Let me just fire at you with these rockets. And now a bunch of people going down, but the mines are down on the point now. Yeah, the Baptiste has been doing really good. Geo absolutely showing up right now. Crimson trying to walk over to point, but actually gets booped back. He's going to be able to touch just barely with time remaining, but of course, Geo's going to pop that Matrix yet again, going through there, putting a lot of pressure down onto everybody. It's just Crimson there with the Fortify, trying to make something happen, but Train Cloud goes into the back line, attacks over at Geo, but Geo just jumps right up to the high ground. You can't touch where you can't get to, so I'm just going to stay up here, and now it's just Rory contesting, of course, with these very fast mobile characters here on the point. They're going to be able to stall for a little bit of time. Rory actually able to get a pick off, and it looks like more people are making their way to the point from the side of Astray. Looks like Arrow's going to be the next to be taken down here, but of course the point is now taken over by Tribunes.
the Tribunes did a great job of focusing that Mercy, not letting her get any of these reses off, not harassing her more so than the Fair, and that's how you take out the pharmacy, because it's very hard to especially Fair v Fair to hit that double shot. So if you take out the Mercy first, then that Fair is not getting healed, and you can just take her out on your own time.
Yeah, now going into this next one, last potential round could decide whether or not we go to another map or if Astray is going to take this series 3-0. This match, so far, that last round was very good. The first map of Busan looked like it was mostly dominant by Astray, but that next map, mostly dominant by Tribunes.
Yeah,
So
I am
going into this last
surprised
one,
to see Astray on the same composition here.
yeah, both sides still running that Pharah, but staying on that Widow and a very far away sleep dart onto Geo to try to manage it for a little bit here. Both the teams just kind of trying to find their little pillars to start the fight off with.
Both these pairs looking for flanks, but what with the big opening kill?
Yeah, what's been absolutely destroying with these shots right now. Absolutely able to hit like Tracer and now hit a Widow while flying in the air, being attacked by Train Cloud. It's absolutely insane. Your focus should it was very good. The focus was to try to get everybody off of Widow's sightlines, but they weren't quite able to manage to do just that. In fact, they were just kind of like, whatever, there's a Hammond on me. Let me just use this grapple and shoot you far.
Doing a phenomenal job of trusting his teammates. He knows what his job is. His job is not the wrecking ball. And he just trusts his teammates to do what they were supposed to do and get his job.
Yeah, and now going into this next fight here, I mean, no one really has the ultimates to work with, so we're just going to be looking for initial picks here. And the initial pick is going to be probably looking for something probably onto the supports if they can, or maybe the Pharah. But they got to be careful because in their backline, what's going to try to get picked off, and that they do. But they lose the Widow in exchange for an Ana in the end, so it doesn't seem too good. But Geo now getting taken out makes this a lot more favorable on the side of Astray. Just trying to make their way onto the point right now to try to cap it. But it looks like they're going to be able to get a few picks on Aurora and Crimson. Now looking a lot more doable to try to keep this held. Annie accidentally takes himself out. Now it looks like Noctis is just firing away, trying to make sure everyone gets away from him.
Oh, and a big res here, getting Annie back to the fight. Just as Shadow gets the point.
Yeah, now the Matrix, though, is looking over the objective. What's actually able to get a pick through that.
Switch taken out again before you get the nano off. That's twice. He died very early in a fight with his ultimate.
Yeah, and now the fight being decided. And coming into soon-to-be last fight territory, both sides have their ultimates, but
Shadow
one
swapping
more.
over to the maid, though. They're giving Farrakhan and Rari going on to the Widow to try to get Annie out of the skies.
Yeah, I think right now Widow's actually a really good call to go with here. It's a very good contester against because as you can see, just trying to burst them down isn't going to work. But it looks like the bongos from both sides are going to be what's going to start this engage here. Garm's actually sleeping in the back line, so pretty much a 5v6 for the time being. They're going to want to turn around and probably focus him at least a little bit here. But now he's just going to go ahead and boop, get Switch out of position right now. Switch is just going to have to use that nano onto somebody, and Jay's actually able to pick up two. Andy now using that barrage to take out Crimson. It looks like they're going to be able to take this map 2-1 now. Still for Astray, but Tribunes ready to make their mark.
Map for the Tribunes there.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just really good picks off to start it with on that Widowmaker, just making sure that first fight is always won, and then going from there, just making it so much more of just start steamrolling and start really getting into the groove of things. So, I mean, right now it's looking pretty good for the side of Tribunes as they want to continue on in this matchup.
Yeah, you really have to question the decision to stay on that era, near when it was okay on downtown, but you have to feel like Tribunes just have the slight advantage. But then on Sanctuary there, man, they just dominated, especially with on the Widow, keeping those sight lines clear for everybody, making sure that the backline got pressured on Stray so that Annie had those free range just to rain in those missiles.
Yeah, and now that it's 2-1, Tribunes are going to be the one, or Astray are going to be the one deciding what map we go to, not Tribunes. So maybe this is where we see more of Astray kind of take more dominant of a hold. It looks like the band's going to be coming in first onto Hanamura, and now Astray just going immediately before even asked what map they want. They're Anubis right now.
They knew exactly.
They knew exactly what they want. So Anubis saying that very fast. 2 CP. I mean, I don't know what they're going to run on here, but I'm expecting to see something maybe a little bit out of the ordinary, possibly, because they said it so fast, and maybe they just feel super comfortable on the map, but something's leading me to believe that maybe they have a specific composition that they really like to run.
Yeah, I'm thinking they've got some sort of pocket pick here that we can eye out for, possibly, you know, Junkrat very strong on this map, possibly some sort of sim strategy that we've seen from that time team. You know, let's see here, Tribunes, it looks like, is going to be on defense first. They chose to play defense first against Astray.
Yeah, and normally defense is what you like to go with, because then it's just kind of like you understand the pace of what you're going to have to go through when you go on attack. Meanwhile, if you start off on attack, it's just kind of like, okay, well, let's just see what we can do, you know?
Although there is something to be said for if you're confident, you pick attack and you put on a blazing time, it can really just demoralize the other team.
Yeah, definitely. But
Defense is the smart, safe thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Definitely agree with you.
But
now,
I'm very excited to see what compositions come out here. But I agree with you. I think there's going to be some sort of niche pick here.
Yeah, I could see that happening from both teams. We're probably going to be seeing the Mei on the defense here, because Mei just does such a good job at stopping them from going through all these tiny chokes that are throughout this whole map, right through the offense here, whether it's you're going to the left or the right, because then you have one choke, you have another one, you have another doorway, and then if you're going underneath, you got this bridge that is a very small corridor, so it just makes it really difficult to attack if you're running a Mei on the defense. So always a very solid pick on this map is running that Mei.
Mei is just a terror on this map. Like you said, you got those two small sides, whether you're going left or right, very small to go through, and you can't really push straight through main because you're just gonna get shot at the entire time you're pushing.
Yeah, and
you have to pick a side.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we can't forget about voting for your MVP for this match. Just looking at all these players go through right now, I mean, we're seeing some really good Overwatch right now. We're able to not get the 3-0 going through, so that's very good. That's something you always love to see. You like to see good matchups like this, and, you know, making sure you vote for that MVP down below. Make sure that you follow Star Esports here on Twitch. Maybe you want to drop the subscribe. Go follow us on Twitter, all that stuff. But now, let's get back into the match here as the Mei wall comes up here on both sides to stop the push from going through and to try to stop them from stopping the push.
That was great positioning by Annie there. You saw that Astray tried to wall them off so that they couldn't see to get that wall off, but Annie, taking that kind of flank, was able to get the sight line to keep them off.
Yeah, and right now, holding up very close. Normally, I don't see people do this unless they're running the Reaper instead of the Hanzo, but they're going to like to hold up very close here on the side of Tribunes. They have the Immortality out right now, but it looks like the first one going down is from Arrow. And Crimson's going to be the first one down, but the Mei wall here is going to split the team up, so maybe they're going to be able to turn this around with a couple more picks. And it looks like both the tanks are going to be taken out. Now, what also is gone from the fight, and it looks like Astray are going to be the ones that actually take this. A little bit too over-aggression to meet that Mei wall coming up there to split them off, and with only about a minute lost from the time bank, is going to make some pretty good time here on the first point.
They did an excellent job leaving Rory at the main choke, and when they pushed in as 5, Tribunes probably thought it was 6, and then just Rory laying into him from behind.
Yeah, very good job there, especially because of that Mei wall, able to just stop them from getting too aggressive there, and then of course we're able to just put in so much damage. Now, with this second point coming up here, Noctis very close to his Matrix, but Arrow already has it, so of course he's going to open up with just that, a little bit far away, so it gives them some time to try to relocate and get out of that sight line. First one down is going to be Annie, though. Not exactly what you want to see, but the Matrix, of course, is going to come through here. He's going to take out Switch. They're going to focus down that Immortality to make sure that they're actually able to secure these kills with this Matrix. But what? It's taken out on the side from Rory, and they're just trying to hold this corner now to make sure that they can stick this point out for a little bit longer. The spawns are closer, so as long as they can keep themselves up, stall for time, wait for their friends to get back here, they're going to be able to hold this point.
Yeah, this should be a one fight for Tribunes, and there it is. Yeah, they got that early pick on the Switch. You had the Transcendence ready to go to keep everybody up, but just took a little too much burst damage, wasn't able to pop it, and probably didn't want to pop it in that situation because you always want to save the Trance to counter another ultimate. You very rarely want to just use it to either save yourself or to engage with. So I think that was a smart play there for Switch.
Yeah, and right now it looks like Astray getting ready to go in here is probably actually splitting up, going 3 down main, 3 on the left side here. So as long as everyone stays together, I think they should be fine. Jay popping his ultimate from a pretty far distance is actually going to force out that Transcendence. But of course, Garms being the first one taken down, but a pretty good Transcendence coming through here to keep everybody up. The Dragon also comes through, so now that... Oh, both Dragons come through, and one Dragon's just a little bit bigger than the other. Rory able to pick up 3 with his. No one has the immortality for that. It's already been taken down, and it looks like this point is going to be capped with about 350 remaining on the clock. Very good attack from Astray, and what a Dragon to make sure that that is secured.
Rory looking at what, saying anything I could do better, get triple as opposed to the single kill on those Dragons. But that was a great job from all of Astray, keeping them bundled up, keeping them in a tight quarter for that Dragon.
Yeah, and now swapping the sides here with relatively the same starting time that they had before. That's going to be for the offense for Astray if Tribunes is able to cap both points. Now is where we're going to want to see what Astray is actually planning to run on this defense here. Maybe they just feel super comfortable with this map, or like we were talking about earlier, maybe they have something up their sleeve. Not quite sure. It's going to be very interesting to see here in a second, though.
Yeah, I would have thought they had something a little more unique planned, but I did like the strategy of leaving the Hanzo back. That may have been their little twist to it, but you never know. I normally like you mentioned, seeing the Reaper. We take that close fight. That's what you usually want to do.
Yeah, and now they are actually going to be running the Reaper here on the side of Tribunes. Of course, always subject to change. They are still in their spawn. But it looks like they're going to be sticking with the meta. You know, nothing too crazy for the side of Astray. You know, they feel comfortable with it. Might as well keep running it. And I mean, because of how fast they picked this map, I can only imagine how comfortable they are with it, especially with what we saw in that offense, with how comfortable they looked.
Yeah, speaking of fast and speed, how are you feeling about this difference between the Zenyatta versus the Lucio? That's really the only major difference we've seen across these maps.
I mean, I've really liked this Lucio pick. I think it plays into Tribune's aggressive play style and how they really just kind of want to get in there and go for the gusto, you know, really just kind of make their mark here. And it looks like What's kind of taking his time. He was a little bit farther back. Everybody's just waiting for him to come up right now. They're going to use that Maywall to try to stop that other Maywall from coming through, but there it is. And it looks like they're going to use the Grasp, break that Maywall while everything's getting eaten by that Sigma, and they're going to be able to just walk their way through here and get around the point. And now see, Rory has that Hanzo, and they aren't going to be holding close. They're actually standing on top of the bridge and holding from there. That's normally the spot you want to hold.
know that What isn't with the rest of the team, and they're not going to let him teleport behind them.
Yeah, and actually they're backing up even a bit more as they get more aggressive here with this Lucio speed boost. Both immortalities are down. But right now, it looks like tanks are going down. More so on the side of Astray. Both their tanks actually getting taken down. It's pretty good for them right now, and it looks like Shadow is stuck in there with the whole enemy team. Not something you want to be seeing right around the corner. And Annie actually hitting another good shot onto Arrow. Rory, though, actually able to take out What before anything gets too aggressive. But I think this point is going to be taken over by the side of Tribunes. Yep, and now it looks like Rory's just going to jump on there. Yep, now it looks like they're going to be getting ready for the second point. Rory's pretty close to that Dragon, and Geo, though, also very close with that Matrix. Meanwhile, Arrow's actually pretty far behind when it comes to that percentage.
Yeah, a lot of people may not like, you know, that kind of play, seeing somebody die that late, but with these new spawns that, you know, you're going to be up, and he got, you know, some extra ult charge, he's pretty much ready to go with that Dragon, and they're going to be funneled in a very tight window here.
Yeah, now What's actually playing again more towards main to try to pick somebody off out of position here, or just try to sneak up and get a quick kill, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to be able to do. He gets trained, and it looks like behind now, Switch and Shadow are pretty far behind. Now them themselves in main, kind of like they're the attacking team. Maybe that wasn't exactly quite the play, though. It looks like a few people are going to be going down on both sides, so actually it looks like they're going to be able to hold this. Switch is going to decide to use the Tranquility for this fight. Just to secure it, I imagine, here. And yeah, so now going down to about 440 left on the clock. Looking at the ults wise, I mean, looking pretty good for the side of Astray right now.
Yeah, Rory getting taken out before he can fire off that Dragon may have actually kind of, now we have this fight coupled with the Blizzard. If you lock everybody in place, that Dragon's going to tear through him, and you got plenty of time to take down that immortal as well.
Yeah, started off with that Blizzard. Or start off with a Dragon, actually, probably is what they're going to want to do, and then go into that. But it looks like they're starting it off with the Dragon. The Immortality, though, looks like it's getting taken down right now. The blizzard coming through looks like it's going to be able to freeze a few people here. Rory being the first
Rory,
one,
Train.
and Train also going down now. And it looks like the Death Blossom also coming through here, able to pick up Shadow. Jay using his ultimate here on the Sigma, actually able to get switched. So now they gotta have to make sure that they get these kills, get them quick, get them clean, and make sure that they don't come back in and take this point back over, which is what we've seen them do before. They're just trying to stop Train from coming in, but he's gonna make his way in. Rory's gonna be going down alongside Train though, and Shadow can't quite make it onto the point in time before dying.
Only a 3-second difference. Tell you what, if you guys wanted a match, you are in for a treat tonight. Neither team is backing down here. Both these guys slugging it out.
Yeah, I mean, their attacks have been so similar, not only with this time bank at the end, but the time bank at the start. I mean, they both capped it with about a minute to remain.
Well.
Yeah, and I think the Lucio is a very good pick for Tribunes because of their playstyle, and I think the Zen's a great pick for Astray because of their playstyle. You know, I think they're both just doing a really good job and playing to their strengths and just kind of going head on.
It's very fitting, and I think now that Tribunes have seen what Astray has to offer, they're kind of adapting the Lucio to it as well. Yes, they've been on the Lucio the entire time, but the way that the Lucio is being played, subtly the differences that, you know, going around these ice walls and making sure they're staying alive instead of trying to just keep the team together and speeding through has been a nice change. But let's see what we got here. We've got a May Hanzo on the side of the defense this time. But they're taking a more passive approach, I don't want to say, but okay, now they're moving forward.
Yeah, and it looks like Switch actually not going to play the Zen, is actually going to start off here on the Ana. So a little bit different here. They're not going to have that Tranquility, Immortality sort of back-to-back each other in case one doesn't work. You throw out the other right after. But I think what they're really going to be going for here is those anti-nades. To kind of just stop them because they are getting super aggressive and maybe they don't have the shields up, so then they can throw that anti-nade and just stop them from getting healed by their Baptiste altogether.
Yeah, basically as soon as Tribune engages for Switch to try to lob a grenade in there and then just poke at them from the sides. They can't heal up.
Yeah, right now Crimson very low, but what even lower? In fact, Zero, he's getting taken out now by the Rock. Still though, trying to run up there, get as many picks as they can. They're actually able to get Crimson though. That's pretty good so far. Rory up there is getting low. Of course, he's going to be able to get healed by Switch. He's got that long range, pretty good healing. Now he's just running in the damage from above. Of course, the anti comes out onto Garms, so Garms is going to get taken out. But the freeze comes through, and Train Cloud's going to get taken out now. It's just kind of back and forth right now on this point. Just waiting for someone to make the mistake here to make it an overall and just start rolling through. Shadow now getting taken out. Rory's just going to have to drop down onto the point to try to contest it a little bit and get in the sidelines with Switch. Of course, Switch not able to heal through 5 people shooting at the same target, so they're just going to have to try to run back and make sure they don't get staggered out.
Trading picks always favors the offensive team with that respawn advantage on that first point, and that's what you saw there. You know, a lot of people get picked off at the same time, but, you know, Tribunes was able to get 6 back faster.
Yeah, and now they're going to be taking this up here with about 3 minutes on the clock. That's pretty good time bank. And Geo, with that amplification matrix, can possibly make something happen, try to take someone out before they're actually able to get their ultimate. But that May wall is absolutely outstanding right now. Crimson stuck on the other side, but it looks like the matrix comes through, and of course their immortality is already down, but now matrix on the other side as well. Crimson the first one out. Now what? Following far behind. Of course, the picks going back and forth again, just like they were on the point before, but this blizzard right now is looking absolutely massive. Of course, with an anti-nade to follow up behind it, no one able to do anything about it. Throw it in there. They can't get much heals now. And it looks like Astray is probably going to be able to hold this one, but it's taking them quite a bit of time, actually. Now, Rory also getting taken down, along with both the immortality fields. Jay electing to use his ultimate here, not quite able to pick anyone off, and instead himself gets picked off. Noctis, though, really showing up, getting a lot of these final confirming kills.
A lot of this fight.
Yeah, and now the Blizzard comes through. Crimson taken down, now Shadow as well. It looks like 3 of them are left on the point right now. It's the Doomfist, the Sigma, and the Bat, but the Lucio makes his way behind, but What's able to pick up another kill here. It looks like Train Cloud's going to use his ult. And, of course, the Death Blossom comes through. It's able to get switched. And now Train Cloud had to use his grasp to try to stop a lot of that from coming through. They use the beat. The Bongo now down next for both sides. It looks like Jay's going to be able to boop them off the point. And What's just absolutely picking up all of these kills right now. And Crimson just trying to walk around, trying to get people off of his back. Doesn't know what to do. Shadow getting taken out by a slam. Crimson now as well. He has to use that amplification matrix super far back to just try to put in some damage. He's got to hope his teammates on the other side of the point make it there in time. And that they do. Rory is on that point right now, contesting for as much as he can. Train Cloud using his grasp to try to make it a little bit longer. Shadow, though, on that Bastion, not quite able to do much. And now with over a minute remaining, all 4 points. round 3 completed.
Wow.
Pretty good capture there from
I
the
tell you
side
what.
of Tribunes.
I questioned that ultimate usage there, but man, they proved me wrong. They count the points of what came in. Devastating. Everybody. I think even with 7 kills in that last fight.
That was crazy. What was definitely starting to pop off there at the end.
That was insane. Any of you got any latecomers to this match?
Yeah.
MVP votes?
MVP?
Looking at what right about
MVP
now?
candidate? Yeah, now, of course, the side's being swapped again. Now, Astray, are they going to be able to pull off something similar? I mean, they seemed very even for the first 2 rounds with both teams, but if they aren't able to pull off something similar here, it could spell the end for this map.
And this is what I mentioned earlier might be coming out.
Incoming in 30 seconds.
Oh, yep, there's that Junkrat.
There's this Junkrat coming out. Very devastating through these tight chokes. You know, that spam is nothing to laugh at. It can tear through shields, it can pick apart squishies, and he's probably gonna throw a trap either on on that right side entrance, it looks like. Yep, there we go. He's gonna make his way around.
Yep. And it's actually pretty good because a lot of people don't actually look in that room. They're kind of more focused on what's going on up top. So even if he does kind of place it a little more in the open, it shouldn't matter
And
too much.
especially if he hides here. Yes, he's not gonna spam them shooting down. He's gonna let them walk in without them even knowing that there's a Junkrat.
Yeah, the Maywall is the first thing to come down here. The Reese is
There it
in
is.
there to get the damage through. What's get a little bit percentage there, but of course the Maywall to kind of block them off. It's making this push take a little bit longer than they want it to right now.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that you kind of want to do in this scenario. You know that both teams are very strong on offense, so you want to eat as much of that time as you can. And that's what this Junkrat May can do. It can stall you out. It can make you question when to push.
Yeah, and the pull comes through right now, getting a lot of people in there. And of course, the Maywall comes through again, and Crimson just stuck on the other side of it. Their push taking a little bit longer than they probably want it to. Now, it's pretty much guaranteed that they aren't going to have as much time for the second point if they are going to be able to manage to cap it. But Gio, it's a great pick on Aurora, a big damage dealer for this team, so they're probably just going to have to sit back here and wait a little bit longer, but they're not going to let them just wait. They're going to throw themselves into this fight. They put the Maywall up.
We love seeing that.
Yeah, right now they're getting super aggressive, but they are deciding to back off. Maybe a little bit too much ability usage and people getting low. They want to back off and just make sure that they're going to be able to recontest it and that they aren't going to get themselves picked off here, but the Matrix coming through.
Minute and a half, and they haven't even pushed through this show.
Yeah, Gio, though, the first one taken down, Arrow following close behind. Now the Immortality's down for them. So, I mean, with all these nades just coming in here, and now the Amplification Matrix, both walls come through here to try to stop that damage from coming through. But Rory actually able to pick up that damage dealer. He was able to make his way into that back line while everybody was focused on the right side. And now it looks like you're going to have to try to just defend the point.
Rory with the big flank onto what they're taking that spam damage out, what was keeping them in that mega health packer room is now gone. Look at them just collapse onto this point.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be capping it here with a little bit of time remaining. Gio just going to go onto that point. Might as well. You know, he's right there. It wouldn't make much sense for him to just run back. Just get a little bit less time off that clock.
Gonna stay on this Junkrat.
Yeah, but it looks like right now he has that rip tire, so that rip tire could be pretty big. Probably trying to get out that immortality paired with maybe a blizzard, or Jay's coming close to his ultimate too. Just so many ultimates right now are about to come up for both sides. But it looks like getting a pretty quick pick here onto Rory. He's gonna let them be a little bit more aggressive here, but the Maywall comes up to try to stop a lot of that aggression from coming through and allow them to back off a little bit. Of course, Tribunes know that they can't get too aggressive here. Astray, still a very good team and not one that you can just run into and not get punished for in case you make a mistake.
Yeah, they're doing a very smart job of controlled aggression. Yes, they are definitely the more aggressive team, but they're not just blindly rushing in. They're doing a very nice, you know, controlled but very aggressive push.
Yeah, and right now it looks like the Sigma and the Hanzo are coming up on the left side. Gio gets taken out. The Immortality's down. That's not very good. He was coming very close, but an amazing Riptire is going to be able to take out 2 there, stopping that fight and winning it for them. Now, the time draining already guaranteeing that they're not going to have as good as a time make as Tribunes.
That was a very smart move. Pull the Riptire, goes and swap.
Yeah, especially right about now. And I mean, coming up to this next fight, it's going to be a 5 ult versus a 4 ult. So, you know, it's going to be a little difficult, I think, for the side of Astray, but we've seen it before. They are very good with their ultimates and make the most of them. So even though there may be a number advantage, they still have to be careful just trying to get a quick pick on a Rory before the fight starts yet again. He's just going to use his Wraith to get back really quick and stop some of that aggression. Both of these amplification matrices come through And here are the immortalities that follow them up, so that way you can peek them and not really have too much worry about that. The bongo coming through, though. Both of these Sigma ults, both of them being very huge, but of course Geo is able to answer that with his Transcendence, with the Blizzard now coming through behind that as well. Switch using his Transcendence now. Train Cloud able to take out Jay and Andy, now both down, followed by Carms and Geo. So it looks like Time Bank right now isn't going to be too much of an issue for them. They put up that immortality, but not much they can do as long as they can get on the point in time. Maybe just try to stall it out to 0, but they're not going to be able to do that.
Tribune really wanted to get it down to 0 attack, but very, very well played by both sides.
Definitely. And I mean, the time bank now, though, twice as much time for the side of Tribunes. And we saw before, they were able to run down that clock onto Astray for so long. It took Astray to have Rory go into the back line and start causing a disturbance for them to actually able to start pushing in. So with 1 minute on the clock, with how much they were able to stall, this is very, very doable for the side of Tribunes.
I would love to see them bring that Junkrat back, because like we both mentioned, they could not push. It took them a minute just to get into where that mega health pack is on the left-hand attack side. And you can't do that now. Now, with this only a minute left, they're going to be forced to push into you. And if you can have that spam damage just raining out on them with those mines, you know, blowing everybody aside, displacing them, and then with a well-placed May wall, you can completely disrupt them. But it looks like they're going to go back to the Hanzo.
Yeah, Hanzo, still a pretty good pick. He's got that a lot of that shield break. Plus, he also has that long range factor, so you can take your time to be a little more careful. Asking for a pause right now over on the side of Tribunes. And I'm not quite sure what the pause is going to be for. It looks like everybody's still in the lobby right now. Maybe a player started lagging out a little bit. Just kind of give it a little bit of a break to try to fix that really quick. But right now, I mean, going into this, looking at these team compositions going up against each other, it's going to be the mirror yet again. So if they're still going to be able to hold off Tribunes, hold off Astray for so long and make it so that way they have to just run in for a push, they absolutely have this. But since they did switch over to that Hanzo, maybe they're just kind of, you know, playing a little more of that reach game, and to make sure that they're going to be able to back up maybe to the bridge, kind of like how we saw Astray do it with their first defense. So I'm expecting to see maybe a little bit of that.
And I do like, since they're going with this Hanzo, I do like to swap for Geo onto these Zenyatta. Now, Discord Orb, they can kind of, you know, you get a Discord Orb and a Hanzo arrow, even if it's not a shot, you're looking at a ton of damage coming out there. And with the Harmony Orb, you know, you can kind of keep that orb onto your Hanzo, have him move around, not having to stay with him, letting him flank more, letting him go on these crazier plays. And I don't know if it's going to work. We haven't really seen it work for them thus far tonight. I preferred the aggressive approach that they showed us, the Lucio and the brawling and whatnot, but I'm excited to see this play.
Yeah, absolutely. Nonetheless, I'm super excited to see how they play this still. They do still have that spam, and I mean, I think just because they gave up that Junkrat, I'm not super worried about them, because Hanzo still has his Storm Arrow, which can be used as a pretty good spam to try to take out the shields. Oh, yeah. And I mean, because of that long range he has, you know, maybe they were expecting Astray to think that they're still going to be on that Junkrat, so maybe they switch over to like a Pharah or something that maybe makes it a little more difficult for a Junkrat to get a lot of value, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case as of right now. They're still going to be running pretty much what they did before when they were stuck behind and weren't able to quite make that push.
Yeah, they're galaxy braining themselves here. There's like, but I do like the pick. The other advantage that Hanzo has over Junkrat, obviously, can't hit headshot.
Yeah, and now
we know that Hanzo has a tree trunk per hitbox.
Yeah, it happens. Some hitboxes, of course, are bigger than others. But now going back into the game here, the pause is over and the fight has started. Now looking pretty good so far. Not really anybody going in making too much difference. It looks like the pull's going to come through. The immortality pretty fast, actually. The May wall comes through here to try to slow down the push a little bit as well. Just kind of waiting it out. It looks like they're going to all go into this right side here and start us off.
I think they're expecting. Yep, there goes the Sonic Arrow, trying to see if Rory is still waiting behind. But now all systems are moving forward. Rory taking an excellent position here, though, on that wall.
Yeah, and I mean, this immortality usage has been pretty good so far, keeping it around the wall, making sure nothing too crazy happens. Rory now getting an off-angle trying to get somebody off of that, but it looks like the Matrix is also going to come through. Thankfully, that Immortality was up behind the pillar, but that shield didn't go far enough for Annie. They're going to have to use their wall to make sure that they're just going to be able to stay alive going through there. That might be something they're going to want in a second here. The Matrix comes through, but it's going to be stopped by that May wall. They're going to take it down, though. The Dragon comes through, and it's actually going to be able to pick up Noctis. An amazing first kill here for the side of Astray. Right now, they're just looking for picks, and Crimson's going to be the one getting taken out by Geo, but him now taken out soon by Shadow. It's just kind of going back and forth right now, it seems, on the kills, of course. Very even matchup still happening at this current time, but What is making sure that he's getting as many as possible. Now the Dragon comes through for him, but that Immortality is up and ready to go. Doesn't look like anybody's quite making anything of it yet, but now What's able to actually get another pick, and it looks like they're going to be able to hold this on the side of Tribunes, and now a full hold.
Wow.
They have 2 minutes in the bank to get 1 tick to win it.
That was an excellent job of them. They saw that the Hanzo went back to what they tried before with that off angle. They immediately fell back to point and turtled up and, stopped him. Got the shields in the proper position, stopped that point from happening, and did a very good job focusing their fire onto one at a time there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really good job. And now they have a little over 2 minutes to try to get that 1 tick. Now, before, when they both did their offensive pushes, I mean, they had a really good time bank for the side of Tribunes. So going into this, I'm not sure how Astray are going to try to change up their game plan to try to stop that. It doesn't look like they're going to change anything up in their team composition right now, but maybe they kind of change it up in the way that they're playing. Maybe they want to play a bit more aggressive when they start coming in here, considering they have that Lucio, or maybe they want to play it even a bit more passive to just try to make it harder for them to actually use that speed boost as their advantage to get up close to them. We're just going to have to wait and see for these fights to actually start off to see if that's the case.
And this is the composition that I love seeing out of Tribunes. Like I said, this Lucio with the speed boost with the Reaper just into the enemy's face. And I believe it's Mike Tyson. Everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face, and they're just dismantling the super strong coordination of Astray here by just running at them, guns blazing.
Yeah, and they're holding on this bridge right now to try to get a lot of damage through that one doorway there. The wall goes through. It's able to stop them for a little bit, but it doesn't look like it's going to be able to actually pick up any kills because of that. I want to see if What here uses his teleport to maybe try to get behind the enemies and try to get a quick pick. It looks like they are playing super defensive right now over on that bridge. They put the May wall up to try to stop a lot of that damage from going through onto them. This is what they did before, and they were able to take out both the Orisa and the May, but right now it looks like Annie's getting stuck back there. Noctis gets a great pick off onto Switch. An amazing first pick. Now that Immortality is seeing pretty much no use for the side of Astray. Arrow's actually going to be able to take out Garms, but Crimson is also taking out himself. Right now it just looks like it's Arrow from the top ropes, and Rory also doing that. Rory now with 2 headshots. Looking pretty good so far for him. If he can get another one in here, he's pretty much guaranteed it. It looks like they're actually going to be using that Amplification Matrix to try to make something happen, but that Immortality field is going to keep Annie up. Absolutely massive right now, but Rory is going to look like he's going to be able to pick up the kill. Actually, it's Shadow with the 3K. But now, with only about a minute remaining, they still have another push.
Rory did an excellent job there, though, not giving up the high ground. A lot of other Hanzos in this situation would have possibly, lost belief in the team, jumped down, try to hold point by themselves, but he kept that high ground, got some kills, and then jumped down to aid the rest of the team.
Yeah, and right now it looks like What actually switched over to that Widowmaker. He's got to be careful of Crimson, though. He could get dough. He's very susceptible to that. Yeah, it looks like it's exactly what he's going for. What actually decided to back off. Crimson now looking for him. He's now running away back over to the point. Looks like the Matrix comes through along with that Immortality field. Garms, the first one going down here. Not very good. That's your main tank, your staple for your team. But it looks like Crimson was in the back line, ready to get What yet again. And it looks like we're about to see a tie here on Anubis, because Astray is now cleaning everybody else up that is on the side of Tribunes.
Finally, we get some defense out on this match. I was wondering if we were ever going to see it, and unfortunately it does make it a draw. Hey, quality match, there's great offense, and then finally at the end there's some fantastic defense.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good match for Temple of Anubis. It stinks that it has to end with a draw. You always like to see someone take a definite win from that. But, I mean, with that play right there that we can see for the play of the game, where Rory getting the 3K with that Dragon, just absolutely making that point for them in that first round.
Yeah, but let's not forget that that was set up by a couple of ultimates and a nice ult there from
Yeah, and I mean,
Train Club. No, Crimson. So.
And don't forget, vote for your MVP down below. Meanwhile, we are now still just waiting for everyone to pick that. And once someone's actually able to meet those requirements of that MVP, we will have them here after the match is over. So right now, it looks like we're just going back to the teams. Now, Astray picking the next map. Now, I mean, they picked Anubis, which said super fast they did. So they felt super comfortable on it. And the fact that they were actually able to draw with Tribunes probably makes them a little bit more worried than they were before.
Yeah, my guess is that they might be, I don't know, the rules allow it, might be consulting with the coach right now. And, okay, now we have the pick of Oasis, and I like that, actually, for Astray.
Yeah.
Especially if you get City Center, a very much more open map. Although we saw that might not be their advantage if Tribunes comes back out on that Farah.
Yeah, that's something I'm a little worried about for Oasis, are those bigger sight lines that they may have. Because for Astray, they really had a lot of issues trying to go up against what on that Widowmaker. So if he gets those sight lines for free, you know, it could make it very detrimental for Astray. But when it comes to something that'll be a lot more close quarters, you know, maybe they see a lot more improvement for themselves going forward with that, with maybe a May, with, of course, that Hanzo or Reaper, the staple combination right now. You know, we're probably going to be seeing that. But, you know, you're going to want to watch out for what in case he goes on that Widow again.
Yeah, I think if we get University, we're definitely going to see the Reaper May out of them, but it's like we're going to be getting part of it.
Initiating match.
Yeah, starting off with Gardens, the Farah map. So we're probably going to see, I don't know, I imagine a Farah with a May. Maybe they want to go with a Farah Hanzo as well. So that way they can have like a little bit of damage that should be a little bit easier to put onto that Farah with a well-placed arrow to the head.
I can even see a Wrecking Ball come out. You know, you've seen on this map before. It's very strong point control for Wrecking Ball here.
Yeah, definitely. A Wrecking Ball is an amazing choice for this map still because he can really just kind of roll through, and of course there's that little pillar in the middle of the point, and Wrecking Balls absolutely love just spinning in circles and just knocking everybody around and then not being able to have anything done to them.
Ready for
Spin
battle.
That's just kind of how it goes.
Yep. Looks like we got Wrecking Balls on both sides to start, although we still got plenty of time for them to swap.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be doing the Farah with a Tracer right now. It looks like on the side of Tribunes. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Reaper May over on the side of Astray.
And based on what we saw on Busan, I have to give this composition advantage to Tribunes early on right now.
2, 1.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to agree with you there. The only thing I'm really worried about is Garms, considering they do have that Reaper and May combo, because good freezing onto him could make it very, very difficult for him to see a lot of value, because he could just get, you know, fed if he's just frozen in place and the Reaper's just able to shotgun him down.
Definitely, you freeze that ball in place, it's only going to take 3, maybe 4 shots from that Reaper, depending on how far away he is to get him to 0.
Yeah, and right now they're just taking their time to kind of go in here, waiting for all of those Farah rockets to come through. Use that Sigma shield to stop a lot of that from coming through. Garms here just kind of rolling through, trying to displace as many people as possible. But it looks like they're actually going to give up the point without realizing it probably here. But they take out that Immortality. Geo actually able to get that final HP down off of Crimson. And Switch now also going down. It looks like everybody now is going to be falling on the side of Astray. This point's going to be taken back now by Tribunes. But I mean, or Tribunes. But I mean, you know, they did get a little bit of percentage.
They gave them better positioning, and they were able to do a lot of poke games. They already at an ultimate now, ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, they have now the Matrix along with the Barrage on the other side now. And I mean, what's also super close with that Pulse Bomb, something that could be very, very good, especially just getting out that single target if they don't use that Immortality at the right time. They're going to pull them together here pretty good. Yep, the Pulse Bomb comes through. But as you can see, Garms right now just doing his duty and just spinning around the wind,
And
spinning to win.
That's one of the best ways to get them out of the Immortality field. Wrecking Balls, knocking them around.
Yeah, and especially knocking someone off the map like Rory. Pretty good pick to start off there. And then, of course, everybody just able to follow that.
That was cruel.
Yeah, and I mean, the only ultimate they used there was that pulse bomb. Meanwhile, over on the side of Astray, they have nothing now. They are very much so going to be going into this next one very dry. So they got to make sure that they keep their ultimate economy good on the side of Tribunes and to not overuse any.
Yeah, I mean, they used the amplification matrix, but they haven't even built up anything else, whereas Tribunes have already built a full suite, and it's almost a second one for one.
Yeah, and right now it looks like Garms is actually going to be able to pick up another kill onto Train Cloud right off the map and then onto Switch. So it looks like all they're going to need to use in this fight now is Mines, and now they've gotten their Pulse Bomb back. And they're at 80%. They're coming up to the last fight.
And they're going to have 5 ultimates just waiting. You're probably going to see a Nano Barrage to keep the Annie alive. And then possibly even a Guardian Aim to get to pump out that extra healing all around.
Yeah, I mean, this match has been super close right now, but with all these ultimates, I can only imagine it's not going to be close for very long. This barrage coming through here, not quite actually able to pick up any kills. In fact, Annie themselves get killed. The Blizzard now comes through. It looks like it's going to get Jay and Garms. Jay actually uses Fortify to get out, though. Could it be that even though they had all 5 of those ults, use all of them, just because Astray has so far been better with their usage, they could take this point back? It's very possible right now, but it looks like now it's becoming a little less possible unless that Death Blossom's actually able to pick up a pretty significant kill over on a Geo. Now Noct is also going down here. It's pretty much just what on this point right now. Never mind, it's just Garms. What actually gets taken out, and what an amazing retake from Astray when they were coming up to pretty much a 1 versus 5 ultimate fight.
Yeah, that's got to be demoralizing for Tribunes right there. They're going to have to do their best to put it in the back of their minds. Talk about that later on the VOD review. And more prepared. That was not pretty.
Yeah, I think what might have happened there was they knew they had all the ultimates, but they just really didn't plan it out possibly, and that's what kind of did it for them. Yeah, and Geo now being the first one taken out, and that Coalescence coming through here to get Jay through all those shields. And of course the Coalescence pretty much being a weird hit scan beam ability is just going to be pretty easy to take out that far on the Mercy that are flying around in the sky.
I tell you what though, I am liking this Somber swap to stop Garms from just spinning around that middle pillar. And if they ever see Ani flying over the water there on the side, just hack her out of the sky as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be really hard for them to actually get this point back, because now the ultimate economy has started going for the side of Astray. And I mean, they have both their tank ults and the sound barrier. It looks like they're going to be using the barrage, and they're actually able to pick 3 off of that. The barrage that they needed before has now showed up to the fight. Already a team kill going through here, and now the point indefinitely taken over now by Tribunes, taking the first round in Oasis.
Annie on the flame. Gotta keep your head on a swivel when that Fair has the barrage. Came out of nowhere, got the triple kill, and I believe got the bongo.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that was a pretty good way to start off that what could have been last engagement there. You know, when there was the 5 ultimate roundup that they tried using there, they weren't quite able to find anything with the barrage before, but this time they were able to find more than enough to make sure that fight was absolutely won for them. And now going into this next map here, another open map ready for this far to go through here. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more mirror matchup going into it.
I definitely like that second barrage though. He was much sneakier, you saw. He kind of came on the flank, came on a side route. Whereas that first barrage, he kind of just went directly at them, and they were able to get the shields in the way.
Yeah.
So let's see how he does. Let's see how Annie does against Shadow here, as we have this Pharmacy mirror.
Yeah, and they're gonna. I think if anything, maybe they wanted to go the Sombra over the Tracer, because I think that was a good pick, like you were talking about earlier. So maybe we could have seen a little bit more of a difference in that, but. You know, still a mirror matchup just to see who has the better raw skill when it comes to their characters is pretty good. And right now it's looking pretty good, actually, for the side of Astray. Able to take out 2 players, one of them getting rezzed afterwards. But still, Geo being out of the fight is pretty big. That's a lot of healing to pretty much everyone that's not your Pharah that you're going to be missing out on. And now that Mercy can't just be focused on the Pharah because, well, the Ana is gone. So you have to be the healer of everybody now. But of course, Arrow getting taken out now by what? Going into that backline, making sure they're getting picked off, and now getting 2. It looks like they're going to be able to take this fight possibly on the side of Tribunes, but not without a little bit more blood to be shed here.
No, they're definitely going to pay for taking this point. Train Cloud not giving it up easily. He's doing his best to stall for his team as we just see the vertical spin to win.
Yeah, a little. That's the windmill.
It stops them from gaining that early percentage. You know, they'd already be around 15% now if he hadn't done that.
Yeah. Pretty good pick off there before the fight even starts over on Aurora to make it last a little bit longer while they have this point. It looks like Train Cloud's actually looking for Garms. Yep, there goes Garms over in the back line, just kind of, you know, saying hello to his fellow Hammond, Train Cloud over there. But these Pharas right now are the ones that are actually battling it out. Really just going head and head to each other, and actually a pretty good hit onto Shadow to start it off.
Yeah, you hate taking that first blow as a fair. It kind of throws you off a little bit. You get worried. It's the second one coming.
Yeah, and
huge area denial there from the mines. They can't push through that, so they got to go around to the side. And let's see if what. Yep.
yeah, these Tracers right now are definitely going in there, making sure that they're able to get these picks. It's being very, very careful and meticulous right now with this, making sure they're able to pick off everybody they can. They started off with the supports and now moving on to the DPS. Now are the tanks pretty much the only ones left on the point. But is that all they're going to need on the point right now? What's doing an absolutely fantastic job on this Tracer, just blinking around, making it nearly impossible for the enemy to try to hit them. But of course, they are going to be able to in the end. Garm's now just rolling around the point, and a great sleep dart right before they get around that corner, on with the anti-nade as well. And now Annie is just going to get that kill, and now back up. They got the pick. Let's just hurry up, regroup, and then go back in.
Yeah, that's actually a big pick there at the end. They're going to get 6 before Astray does, so they're going to wait for everyone members and then just push right in here.
Yeah, now looking at all these ultimates, you're going to see your screens get very, very colorful in a second, I'm imagining.
If you're a fan of particle effects, just stay tuned.
It looks like it's going to be Garms going in on Crimson to start it off, but in the backline with Nano on Train Cloud on the Hammond, actually able to pick up a kill too. Losing your main tank for your main support, though, is a little bit scary here, but they're going to actually switch the point off with all the people there. No one decided to touch the point in time, and now the percentage is going to start ticking up yet again for Tribunes, and you're going to have to be really careful. The Pharah takes out the Mercy, but now themselves also going to take it out by their counterpart. The Bongo down there, and I mean, they're able to pick up so many kills right now. With about 85%, they got one more fight to try to come in here.
And they still have Nano Barrage waiting in the wings.
Yeah, and it looks like they're making their way back here. They're focusing Crimson because he's all by himself up here. But a pretty good nade landing onto him, getting him enough heals to secure himself to stay up there going a little bit longer. He's got that fortified, but the Bongo goes down from Crimson. But of course, that barrage comes through, and actually a counter barrage onto that barrage is going to stop that from going through here. Jade, now Anti is going to have to back up for as much as they can to try to keep themselves up, but it doesn't look like it's going to be much. But actually, both support's now getting taken out. The Pulse Bomb onto the Tracer. What is just absolutely showing up right now with these Tracer kills? But is it going to be enough for them to keep the point secured? I don't think so right now with the 1v2 going on with that Hammond.
Yeah, Garms tried stalling that 1v2. Ooh. Geo almost got there in time, but now he's just stalling something. Although Annie with the big pick.
Yeah, an amazing pick. I cannot believe that Geo was still up for so long. Of course, they're just going to get res right back up in Crimson now with an easy little 2K, but what is able to take him out? They probably just want to back up right now. I think right now they want to back up. I think they have been kind of just going in a little
I think you back out and then engage the 6 here.
Yep, and it looks like they are going to be sticking to pretty much everything they had before. No real reason to switch. Unfortunately, what gets taken out?
Although I kind of like the Winston pick. You can get into disguise, harass the pharmacy. You know, isn't as immobile as the Orisa is, so he's not going to get stuck by tracer bombs.
Yeah, and I think he noticed that a lot of the times he himself was just kind of getting caught out because he's kind of all by himself. So why not switch over to the Winston where you have a little bit more mobility and you're able to get around? And
yeah, when you're the only one who's not mobile.
Yeah, and it looks like right now with the fight going in, Geo's going to be the first one taken out right now. Crimson over in the backline. Shadow, though, is just going to be able to pick up 2 more. So far, so good for them. Coming into the last fight here, they're going to have to decide, do they want to back out and kind of just take a breath and hurry up and regroup and then try to recontest? It looks like that's going to be their only option. Garm is going to have to be the one to touch here on this hammer.
Looks like they decided a little too late, though. They got stuck in that middle ground of, okay, are we fighting? We're backing out? We're backing out? Kind of sat there. Oh!
Another good sleep dart. And then, of course, the Pulse Bomb going over onto Crimson. But, of course, the Barrage coming in after Shadow takes out Garms with one of his missiles. He's going to be able to get back onto the point here as Jay just trying to use this Winston pick to put in as much damage as possible with that Tesla cannon, or just making sure he can get as many targets into that as possible. Trying to get as many people, but it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to get much, except Geo's actually able to pick up Rory, but what? Somehow dies. I imagine maybe it was an accidental Pulse Bomb to the face, which is very possible, but no, it's not. They're about 50%. I'm not sure what happened.
You went off the map. We're going to have to go back and check the tape.
we get a replay on that one?
Possibly blinked off the map, trying to avoid something.
Quite possible. You just don't know you have that recall not back up yet. Maybe you just try to go off to the side really quick so that way you can negate some of that damage, and then you go for the recall and it's just like, oh, that's not off a cooldown yet. Uh-oh.
This is the map that I wanted to see, though. This is
Yeah.
where we're going to see the two styles play very, very different. Ani stays on that Pharaoh, Annie stays on that Pharaoh, but you're going to see
Yeah, I think this map is probably the one that's more favoring Astray. I think the last one was definitely more the 50-50. Of course, the first one we saw was definitely the one where Tribunes was going to take it over. But I think now that this is on the University, I think that this is very much Astray's map. And so if they're gonna win it, it's gonna be here.
Yep, and if Astray wins this map, if they win the match.
Yeah, but right now Annie's not gonna let that happen. Taking out Switch to start off, but Geo followed up close behind. And Annie, of course, is gonna be able to take out another one. That's gonna be the May, and then Crimson next, but it gets taken down, flying a little too low. Gonna get them taken out. Arrow being targeted right now by Garms in the back line, but I don't think they're gonna be able to do much with that.
Now Annie with the 3K, but Ari coming in with the late triple secures the point for his team, and they're gonna start.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult, I think, for the side of Tribunes to try to come back in. They're going to switch over to the Orisa Reinhardt. Pretty good, especially if you just want to run in here. Mirroring them should be all right for them. As long as they're able to get a few kills here, I think that they could have this right back in the bag. Of course, as everybody's really face-to-face right now, the first pick actually going down on a Train Cloud, losing out on your Ryan is pretty big, especially in this scenario, just running in over on Crimson, trying to take out that other one, but a good pull. Brings half the team down into the hole, so now making this fight a lot more favorable for the time being for Astray. And the Maywall also stops them from getting in the fight for a little bit longer. It's looking pretty good so far. The pin comes through. Of course, a wall is able to stop that, and then drawn down again. Garms back into the hole you go. Death Blossom over in the back. Now it looks like Roy was able to pick up the 2. Crimson also, and now Roy with a 3. Just absolutely showing off right now. And I mean, those pulls were exactly what they needed to do on the side of Astray. Crimson, very good job.
Crimson, I don't want to say single-handedly won that. Definitely controlled that fight with those pulls.
Yeah, and right now Train Cloud's playing in the back line. He's being super sneaky. He's got the shatter in the back line. He's able to pick up a couple with that one. They're all running in here. Geo stuck on the ground, gets stuck by that. Is now taken out. The Blizzard comes through. Crimson able to pick up 3 kills now. Orisa absolutely fragging. Make that 4. Can we see a 5? I don't think so. What's just going to make his way all the way back to spawn, but he actually gets walled off. Yeah, make it 5. Why not? Keep them adding up.
Give him the late penta. And now they have very strong control. They don't have the ultimate. Almost a full sweep. Probably get all 6 of them during the fight for Tribunes, but they got to find a way to push on the fight.
And it looks like right now they're just slowly making their way up here. They're going to start it with that amplification matrix. It looks like right now it's going in the side of Tribunes, but we've said it before and it's turned its way around again. But this matrix looks like it's putting through a lot of heals. A big fire strike in that Blizzard, though, is going to be stopping them right in their tracks, I assume, here. As Train Cloud is the first one to go down, and what with the Death Blossom over on the side, able to take out 2. Meanwhile, Shadow was the last one on point just to meet his doom to a fire strike.
And they were able to hold on to the bongo, so they didn't have to invest everything, but they did have to invest a lot. However, the economy is still slightly better than over on Astray, where they have nothing, but are coming up on a Shatter. But Shatter in the double shield meta, not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah, it's going to be dependent on Garms. If they push through that Orisa shield, if he's going to be able to read just that. He's coming up close to it. He's got a shatter down. It doesn't look like it's actually going to be able to pick up anybody. In fact, the only one that gets picked is himself. And now the pin is actually able to get 2, and somehow he himself stays up on the map. So that's a pretty high value pin that you don't get to see happen very often.
Yeah, and again, the economy, like we've been talking about, 2-1 now in favor of Tribunes. However, Rory more than likely going to have his that can be a real game changer. Very easy to get 2, 3, 4 kills with that if you're in the right position.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to start off with the Matrix with the Fire Strike, putting through a lot of damage. The Blizzard, though, comes down. It's going to get a lot of people in it. But right now, it looks like the first 2 taken out are going to be on the side of Astray. But numbers-wise, it's even out. A pretty good Shatter is going to be able to take down quite a few here. Are they going to be able to capitalize on it? It doesn't look like they will quite just yet. They're going to back up to the point, make sure that they have their Lucio with them. There goes the beat drop. And of course, that Matrix also coming up yet again. So there's going to be a lot of damage coming through. Jay on that point gets taken out. Garms now as well. And it looks like we may just see the end of this match going up right here, right now. Annie makes their way over to the point. Puts up that Maywall to try to stop it from going through too much. Noxus over here on the side with what? Trying to take out the enemy, Lucio. Everybody's coming back now. What's going to be the first one taken out right now in this stall? Looks like Noxus is the only one able to touch. Jay makes his way over and uses a pile drive to try to put through some damage. Garm's back up here. Annie gets taken down. Nobody right now on the side of Astray is dying. Of course, the Earth Shatter comes in. It's actually able to take out Jay. Now Garm's followed up with that pin. The Death Blossom in the back, and that spells the end of this matchup. Not only was it a great matchup, it was super close.
A great match and a great final match. That final match just basically signified the entire match, I think. Both sides slugging it out, not giving an inch, and just Astray barely creeping it out.
Yeah, and I mean, both of these teams, I mean, Astray, a team we know, is absolutely fantastic in the Tier 3 scene. And now, I mean, talking about, you know, Tribunes, a team that maybe not a lot of people have heard about, you know, a team that's just recently been formed. We've seen a few of these players before, such as Jay and Noctis. But I mean, you know, they did an amazing job. So even though they may be knocked down to the lower bracket, they are going to be quite a terrifying team to see if you do end up going down there.
Do not count them out. Oh my goodness. They are probably going to tear through that lower bracket. They possibly get to the finals. Definitely a strong pick to get through at least the semis for that lower bracket. You'll be seeing a lot more of Tribunes and a lot more from Epoch Esports out of the match.
Yeah, don't forget to vote for your MVP down below right now. We're about to be going into an interview with whoever that may be in a couple more minutes. But, I mean, what a great matchup. Tribunes almost was able to pull off a reverse sweep, it felt like, against Astray, currently one of the strongest teams we know of. And, I mean, Tribunes, I mean, the mental fortitude you have to have. It was 2-0 with Astray up, and they were just able to keep their heads on and just keep powering through it to just make sure that they're going to be able to take those maps and to try to make that comeback. I mean, it was absolutely an amazing match to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Astray, you're talking about Astray, one of the top teams like people mentioned right now. Second at in NCS 2019, first in the our Star Esports All-Star Trials, and second in the Title Esports Q3 Invitational. This is one of the strongest teams in the Tier 3 scene right now, and Tribunes went toe-to-toe with them, never backed down. That was a very strong performance and bodes very well. For a new team, once they get that extra synergy, once they get that time together, once they get that coaching, they're going to be a very dangerous team moving forward, and look for them in open division.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the players on it are insane. Everybody, it looked like from both teams, were making plays, whether it came from the supports, DPS, tanks, everybody at one point in time or another was just showing up with their abilities and showing off with their skill, just how much effort they put into this game and how much they can actually reap the benefits of learning.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you don't usually see. A lot of teams, you'll have, oh man, the DPS is carrying them, man, they got really strong supports, whatnot. This was a full team effort from a newly, put together team. I'm scared if I'm going forward. If I'm in that low bracket matched up against them, I'm not looking forward to that match.
Yeah, a match like this is something you expect to see in like a finals, like something super close against what we would say are the underdogs of Tribunes and one of the best teams around, Astray. I mean, this is something you want to see going into a finals, and I think we could probably see something like this going into a finals as these teams make their way through the brackets. Very
easily. And it's not often in an Astray match that we spend more time talking about the opposing team and how impressive they are. Astray, like we both mentioned, a fantastic team, a lot of good players on that team. You love seeing Rory back in. Switch Arrow on that support was a phenomenal back tease today. But Tribunes not backing down. They were down 0-2. They thought, oh man, this is going to be another Astray sweep. But man, they came back and they did not let up for a single second.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And it looks like you guys voted MVP as Annie, who will be joining us here in a second.
Phenomenal pick. I can't disagree with it. There was a lot of strong contenders. You had Annie, you had Arrow, you had what? Switch, Trade Cloud. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah,
any of the 12 players.
Yeah, honestly, any of the 12 players would have been an amazing MVP. picking Annie though is also an amazing choice. I mean, a great player that we will be able to talk a little bit more about once they join. I don't want to hype Annie up too much while we're just sitting in here waiting. I'll just wait for them to join the Discord before we start, talking it out.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay. Well, looks like we got him in here.
Hello.
Hello.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm clear. All right. Hey, yo, congrats on the match. I mean, you weren't able to pull off the win, but you guys really showed up. Honestly, like that was an insane match to watch.
Yeah, thank you. It was really fun. It was so close. They had some really good comps, but we had a coach and he just kind of told us what to run, and we've been experimenting with Lucio a lot to take like really fast balls because a lot of teams don't expect fast pace in this meta. So we've been like experimenting with like Lucio speed and just like straight disruption with Mei, and to like make them make mistakes then punish it.
Yeah, and I think it was doing an absolutely phenomenal job, honestly. I mean, watching it happen on King's Row, you guys were showing off kind of what Val said earlier while it was going on, kind of like a GOAT's kind of push, just going all in with that Lucio speed boost and making like openings for yourself, putting in a lot of damage, Is that something, like you said, with your coach that you guys have just now been doing, or is it just kind of something that you have thought about previously, or?
Yeah, so we have a coach, his name is Solheim, and he's like EU, like ex-contenders, and he's been like really showing us this completely different style of play that like he got from EU. So we've been like trying to experiment with like EU playstyle, because apparently in EU, they run that kind of stuff over Zenyatta. So we've been messing around with that and just trying to catch a lot of these teams off guard. So we're pretty pleased with how we went tonight, but there's a lot of mistakes that we made, so
yeah.
We got some.
It's always good to notice stuff like that. And now, you did an amazing job, hence why you were voted for the MVP. You were just doing amazing plays with the Mei. You got great Mei walls. You had great blizzards. Is there like a specific way that you would kind of say Mei should be played, or is there kind of like it's very situational the way you want to use your Mei walls and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, like the way we run Mei in our brawl, it's like a lot different from the way Mei is run in spam. Like we kind of just int in as fast as we can with speed and like take rotations and avoid spam like coming in, because if we get spammed out like free fight, we're gonna lose the fight basically. So the way like we play Mei, I mean honestly, is you just gotta listen to your team and you have to pull wall and then look for like that Sigma if he overextends or the enemy Mei. Basically we did a lot of looking for the Sigma, trying to punish that, force gold, swap to Sig, and then honestly it's just walls at that point and just pull walling with your team, and then just listening. Mei is a lot of listening and just playing what your team needs you to play, and then just being there where you need her to.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of teams, it's usually like a main support or a main tank that's kind of making the calls. When it comes to your team, is it kind of like an everybody's sort of calling, or like you said, where it's just kind of like one or two people in particular?
We have Noctis, and he's like awesome leadership, and then we have Garms coming in too, and Garms is insane. So Garms has been really stepping up and like securing the comms and like making sure everyone is focused and zoned in, and making sure like we have the stuff down. So it's Garms and Noctis basically. They're kind of the comm leaders.
Yeah, and when you're playing this Mei, like you were talking about earlier with your Mei walls, you guys like a lot more aggressive play style, but when you're on that defense and sometimes you're not quite able to do that, like we saw on Anubis, and you're just kind of using it to maybe block off the enemy sight lines or to stop them from going into an entrance, what kind of lets you know that you got your value that you needed out of that wall?
Like win rotations, like if we wall the rotations and we get spam out, get value spam and try to force key abilities like Baptiste Lamp. But like, and then if they wall our face, I've been taking a couple off angles to try to make sure they don't wall me. So that gives us value walls at choke on Anubis. Like if you don't land in a wall at choke, it's hard to win the fight because they get in free. So I guess just gotta make sure you land the rotation walls, and then up to that, it's up to your team to help you brawl.
And I think that really has to do with the question that I can think of. Val, any questions for Annie?
The only thing I got actually is, as a Mei player myself, actually, I love seeing Mei in the current meta. But do you feel that kind of extra pressure on the Mei as being the one that's in charge of the walls? You're in charge of cutting the team off, and you're one of the only people with your main, your M1 that can freeze the Sigma that can get through his kinetic draft. Do you feel that extra pressure, or do you thrive in the moment?
Yeah, she's a very, like, it's a very punishing position because basically Mei kind of like stabilizes the whole team. Like the wall pressure, like I honestly, like, I only just started playing Mei this meta, so like I've been grinding her a ton and trying to practice it because, like, again, when I started, like, my Mei walls were so bad, but we've been like focusing with my coach and make sure we get it down. But no, she's definitely a really mentally punishing role. Like the mechanics might not be there, but you have to make sure you know, like when to wall, what to wall, you know, when to alt, when to cryo. But yeah, that's May.
It's always rough when you cryo and then everybody else dies, and then I was just 6 enemy players.
Yeah, everyone's just looking at you. Yeah.
But,
Yes.
that was all I had. Congratulations on the again. And forward to great things from you and the rest of the Tribune.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. That being said, I believe that brings an end to the night here at Star Esports. Don't forget to follow Star Esports here on Twitch. Subscribe. Go to our YouTube. Go to our Twitter. Follow us there. And make sure that you keep up with all these matches, because tonight we've had some pretty good matches. It's a great way to end it off right here with two really good teams going up against each other, making it really close the whole time, and just ultimately having a great time here in the Tier 3 community. You know, we can't thank everybody enough for everybody who comes out and subscribes, who just retweets something as simple as one of our tweets or follows us, you know, on social media, stuff like that. You know, we really do appreciate it here. And, you know, I think I speak from everybody when we say thank you.
Yeah, very much so. Couldn't think of a better way to end the night. So anything you can do, a retweet, a follow, even just being a viewer, getting those viewer numbers, every little bit. Thank you to everybody who contributes in any sort of way.
Mm-hmm. And with that being the end, I've been Poor Zach, your play-by-play caster. You can find me over at Twitch, Poor Zach. I usually stream at about 2 p.m. EST on weekdays. Sometimes I stream on the weekends. You can also follow my social medias. You can find there. And, you know, I'm trying to put up some YouTube videos, so expect to see those up in the future, going over Overwatch. I play it around like a Masters, Grandmasters with Tank, and then like Masters DPS, and then support I don't want to talk about. So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Yep. And you can find me twitch.tv/PaulNilo. I'm not nearly as good as Zach. Full on flat chat. But I like to have fun, and I do a little bit of stuff besides Overwatch, and Diablo, but again, get out there, support your Tier 3 scene, support Star Esports, please, and everybody have a fantastic.
Have a good one.